Good morning. Good morning, phenomenal people. It's certainly a pleasure to be with you once again. My name is Gary Thompson. I'm a business development consultant by profession. I'm a humanitarian by nature, and I'm the author of several books. Billionaire Codes is one of my most recent masterpieces. This book is not the average book. This book is designed to help you to gain a sense of self. This book is designed to help you to understand some of the key concepts of self-mastery. Now, let me say this to you. Many of you might say self-mastery. You might be opening your eyes very big to understand exactly what is it he's talking about. What I'm saying to you is that you should put yourself in a position of strength to be able to master who you are. Can you imagine that someone gives you a key to the most luxurious car the world has ever known? But guess what? You have no sense of understanding as to how to start that car and how to navigate that car to enjoy the benefits of having that car. That would be absolutely strange. You own the car, but you have absolutely no sense of understanding as to how to navigate that car. It means that you have not attained any mastery over ownership of that car. What I want to put to you is that you have to put yourself in a position of strength to declare ownership over your life. It doesn't make sense that you own you, but you have no sense of understanding of the significance of you. And that is what I want to talk about today. Because to me, you are the most phenomenal persons the world has ever known. The human capital is the greatest asset the world has ever known. The human capital is the greatest asset the world will ever know, regardless of artificial intelligence. You're a phenomenal people. But guess what? Most of you are completely ill aware of the substance that you have to achieve abundance, to achieve greatness, to live life to the fullest of potential. And this is one of the reasons that in the world today we have approximately 7.5 billion. But guess what? Most of the people in the world use less than 5% of their brain power in their entire life cycle. Yeah, because there's something that we call eyesight and there's something that we call mindsight. Most people understand the concept of eyesight, but very few persons understand the concept of mindsight. I'm not going to get into that today, but I want to show you that those concepts are in this book. And you see, when you grow in an organization, you want to grow an organization with the kind of human resources who are trendsetters, the kind of human resources who are game changers, the kind of human resources who are dream makers. But you cannot have these things if you have a pool and a team of people who are driven by eyesight. Let me give you a little glimpse here. Eyesight represents everything we can see around us. Mindsight represent the things you have not yet start to conceptualize. I know most of you are saying to yourself that you don't have the potential to tap into mindsight. Well, if you don't have the potential to tap into mindsight, I'm simply saying to you that you're not ready for the real world of business. You're not ready to master who you are as a phenomenal human being. Let me shake your world up here a little bit before I get into the true concept that I want to talk about today. I want to talk about purpose today. But before I get into the fundamentals of this discussion, I want to shake your foundation a little bit. You see, and I want to talk here to a lot of my Christian brothers and sisters. If it is that we can say that we believe that we were made in the image and likeness of the Most High, there's something that I want to say to you. When the Most High created the world and he said that it was pleasant, he took the earth that represents abundance, and he made man in the image of his likeness. Hear this one. The earth, from the time that he created to now, is abundance. The earth grows grass abundantly. The earth grows vegetation abundantly. The earth has gold and diamond and mineral deposit and oil deposit abundantly. Now hear this. I didn't say it. It is there in the master book. And what it says there, the mastermind of the universe took the earth and he made man in the image of his own likeness. So what it is saying is that he took a fertile soil and he made man. So you represent all of those abundance that I've just spoke about. But guess what? In spite of the fact that you came from abundance, you're a people that thinks in limitation. Let me put this other one to you. The fact is that he didn't only took the earth, which is abundance, and made you into the image of his likeness. When he finished molding you and shaping you as a master designer, as a master craftsman, what else did he do? He breathed his breath of life inside of you. So you have a double portion of blessing. You now are the carrier, you're the agent, you're a demigod because you're carrying the DNA of Christ within you. But here is where you resign to become an average person. I don't blame you, I blame the socialization of an educational content that has caused you to be completely divorced from your true sense of self, from your true sense of identity, from your true sense of purpose. Today is that day that I want to break the back of traditional systems that are designed to hold you back. You are a phenomenal people. You are a people who have untapped potential. The reality is that you just don't know how to tap in to your real substance. Are you saying to me that the master creator that created the universe and created me, created you, created the people of the world to live in limitation? Are you saying to the world that the 1% of the people who are in that position of strength to mastermind their creativity, mastermind their ability, who are able to put themselves in that position of strength to use more than 5% of their brain power, are the selected few? This is what you're saying to the world? That God, who created the universe, identify a special group of people who he wants to excel and exceed in their lives. And you are the Gentiles that you just don't care about. I want you to stop fooling yourself. You're not fooling me. I need you to stop fooling yourself and stop fooling the people. Stop disseminating bad content of information that is holding people back, that is suppressing people from becoming the best brand of themselves. I just want to shake some foundation today. Because in my heart, as a humanitarian, I owe it to myself and I owe it to every single citizen to plant that seed into your mind that helps you to understand that you are not an ordinary person. You're an exceptional individual. My task is to help you to awaken that sleeping giant within you and give you the kind of information that will move you to the next stage of development in your life. Today I want to talk about purpose, but before I come to that point of purpose, I want to ask you this question. Why do people fail? Why? Why do people fail? The 1% of the people in the world, you think they didn't fail? They had many failures. But the reality is that they did not allow their failure to define who they are. Most people, the moment you fail one time and two times and three times, you give up. You give up on yourself. And giving up on yourself is giving up on the greatest asset, greatest resource the world has and will ever know. You have to stop giving up on yourself. But let me say this to you also. Most people fail because of the fact that most people do not have a true sense of self. People fail because they do not understand their purpose, they don't understand their passion, and they don't understand their gifts. Ask yourself this question. When a craftsman produces a unique work of art, does he produce that unique work of art to just sit and rot in the closet? Of course not. So ask yourself this other question. The master creator of all creators, the creator who created the universe, he created you, created me. Are you resigning to the idea that that master creator created you for you to be like an abstract painting on the wall, for you to be deposited into a closet and to be forgotten with? No, you have been made with a clearly defined purpose. But I'm fully aware that most of you have no sense of understanding as to what that purpose really is. Today, I will attempt to give you some information that will set the tone to shape your sense of understanding of the significance of knowing your purpose. Your purpose defines you. I just said it. Your purpose defines you. And if you do not understand what your purpose is, believe me, it simply means that you do not have a true sense of understanding of who you are. I prefer to go for a deep sense of understanding of what my purpose is than to go for riches and gold and diamonds and rubies and pearls. Because the fact that when you understand who you are in terms of your purpose, and you can position yourself to live in complete alignment with your true calling in this world, doors open. The heavens of riches pour out to you. And as you go deeper into this program, and I want to encourage you, very soon this is going to be launched, the website will be launched, and you will be able to access this book via the internet. I want you to inbox me on the, Facebook, and you will be able to get information on the content that I'm talking about. But along with that, I want to commit to bring you a content of information via YouTube that will help you to truly understand how to connect with your deeper sense of self and how to connect with your purpose. I would have said in the previous podcast that people function better in every area of their lives when they understand their purpose, their passion, and their gifts. Your purpose defines who you are. Let me put this to you. Your purpose, it is your life's ritual. Yes, it is your life's ritual. Man is nothing but his habits. But the reality here is that most of us have habits that is not aligned to our true nature and our true calling. It is important for you to nurture rituals and nurture habits that is completely representative of your purpose. So every day you're committing to your ritual that allows you to further activate your purpose, activate your passion, activate your gifts so you can become the best brand of yourself. You can be the people who are positioning yourself to use 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 and 12% of your brain power. Most people in the world today have never reached that point. What is preventing you from reaching that point? I understand some of the systems that is holding you back, but my task as a humanitarian is to give you a content of information that will help you to stop self-sabotaging yourself. You see, many of you, you have a lack of self-confidence. You are not placed in that position of strength where you can nurture independent thoughts to be able to think for yourself. Many of you put yourself in that position where you can only position yourself to become followers. The vision behind my institution is to nurture world-class leaders who are committed to touching and transforming lives and helping people to become the best brand of themselves. So let's go back to purpose. Your purpose defines who you are. Your purpose is your life's ritual. Your purpose is what helps you to be anchored in your position of strength. Most of you, you're not anchored in your position of strength because you do not understand your purpose. I want to encourage you that as I go deeper into this book and as I go deeper into my podcast, you will get a clear understanding of what I'm talking about. Your purpose is so significant. It is your anchor. It is your lifeguard. It is the breath of fresh air that will keep you alive and in complete alignment with who you are. And as I said, people function better in every area of their lives when they understand their purpose. Your purpose is your connection to your genie. Hear this one again. Your purpose is your connection to your genie. And I want to say this. Each and every one of you, you have a genie inside of you. You have something inside of you that is so unique, that is so awesome, that when you understand it and you're able to activate self-knowledge, self-confidence, self-application, great things happen in your life. You want to come to that point of mastering who you are? You want to come to that point where you're the person that has the keys to that luxurious car and you know exactly how to navigate that instrument? You want to come to that point of becoming that individual who has a true sense of self, who has a true sense of identity, who has a true sense of purpose, and you have a clear sense of understanding as to how to navigate yourself to attract the abundance of life into your life. Keep following me. So, your purpose defines you. Your purpose, it is what gives you a sense of self. And let me go deeper into this now. Your purpose gives you a sense of self. Your purpose informs your knowledge of self. What is your knowledge of self? Your purpose informs your sense of self-confidence. Your purpose informs your sense of self-application. What I'm saying here is also very profound because it is one thing to know what your purpose in life is, which is your self-knowledge. You understand who you are, you understand your purpose, you understand your daily rituals. But some people, in spite of knowing this, they can self sabotage. And they self sabotage because of the fact that their confidence level is very weak. The moment someone says to you, your dreams are too big, your shoes are bigger than your feet, you're in a dream world, you are a mad individual. And believe me, the moment you become or start to position yourself to become an exceptional thinker, an exceptional leader, the average mind are very often tempted to say these things to you. And what you do, you allow your sense of self to be defined by that average mind. You see, most people measure you based on how they see themselves. And when that happens, it simply means that you are giving people power over your life, over your destiny, over your awesomeness. You've literally allowed people to hijack your sense of self because you allow them to prophesy negatively over your life because of the simple fact that you do not have self confidence. You want me to tell you something about self confidence? You have to put yourself in that position of strength where you own self confidence, where you are not motivated by the negative or the positive influences that are surrounding you, but you are motivated by a deeper sense of self that says, regardless of the outside world, I will depend on my inside world and what my inside world is saying to me. And your inside world is your sense of self. What is your sense of self? Do you have a positive sense of self? Do you have a negative sense of self? You need to put yourself in that position of strength where you have self confidence. And let me put this to you, there's no successful people in the world today that weren't called names. Bill Gates was called names. His parents had wanted him to become a lawyer. They might have called him foolish and stupid who wants to now explore with science and technology. But did that stop him? No. He became one of the greatest innovators the world has ever known. Let's look at Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is one of the great minds the world has ever known. Why? Because he follows something that it called passion and purpose. Let's go right back to history. Let's look at the Rockefellers. The genesis of the Rockefeller family is a story to tell. These are one of the great minds that literally built the United States of America. But because of innovative thinking, a poor child who came across to America as an immigrant developed the determination that America is a land of opportunity and he wants to position himself to benefit from the land flowing with milk and honey. And what happened? He became one of the first innovators for kerosene. He became one of the first innovators that create pipelines throughout America that from kerosene filtered gas into thousands and millions of homes throughout America. He became the man who was responsible for the ExxonMobil that is now known around the world. He left a legacy. Do you think that he had concern if someone had called him crazy? No, he was moving in a direction where he wants to make exceptional possibilities happen. And he had a huge sense of self and self-confidence. And he allows that to be his guide. What is your sense of self? What is your sense of self-confidence? Are you going to allow the average person who's attempting to shut you down to prevent you from coming into your greatest success story, I want to say this to you. I want you to think big. And I don't want you to stop thinking big and leveraging that big idea until you start hearing people say that you're crazy. You want to be deemed crazy. You're smart crazy. You're ambitious crazy. You're phenomenal crazy. And believe me, you will start to attract the right people around you, and the great things will start to unfold in your life. You see, growth in your life is not accidental. Growth in your life must be intentional, must be deliberate. So, self-confidence is one important thing that you need to have as you're positioning yourself to be successful. If you do not have self-knowledge, if you do not have self-confidence, you can set yourself up to self-sabotage. I don't want to hear this person said that and that person said that, and this is one of the reasons why you fail. You fail because you didn't have a sense of self. You fail because you didn't have a sense of identity. You fail because you didn't have self-confidence. I want to give you this other one. One of the reasons that people fail is because most people fail to apply themselves. It's what we call self-application. There are people in the world today who has billion-dollar ideas. You may have self-knowledge, you may have some degree of self-confidence, but guess what? You're not applying yourself. It doesn't make sense to have this great substance. It doesn't make sense to be this phenomenal you and be scared of applying yourself. And again, most people fail to apply themselves because they have difficulty when negative criticism comes. You know, at the university, we were introduced to something that we call the self-image theory. And the self-image theory introduced us to 4 concepts of self. We look at the ideal self, we look at the looking glass self, we look at the self-image, and we look at the real self. And I will quickly talk about this as I talk about purpose today. Most of you understand what is the ideal self. This is what I want to become. Most of you understand the self-image. This is how I see myself. And I trust that from today you will start to nurture a positive sense of self as against a negative sense of self. Because most of you in the world today, you have a negative sense of self. You have a sense of self that is not defined by you, but is defined by everybody else. And that brings me to the next self, which we call the looking glass self. The looking glass self is a self where that adjusts itself to please people. And this is what most of you do. You walk, you talk, you eat, you sleep, you do the things that you do simply because you want to please people. You know, you can gain the whole world and lose yourself. In my world, it is better to gain yourself and lose the whole world. Because the reality is that when you gain yourself, you don't lose the whole world. You become more attractive to yourself. You become more attractive to people. But you must position yourself to declare ownership of your life. But to declare ownership of your life, I'm going to come to the fourth self, and that is the real self. The real self is a self that you need to commit time daily and develop your rituals to truly understand your real self. Your real self is a self that says it doesn't matter where you came from, it doesn't matter where you're at. You can wake up right here and right now, and you can say to yourself that I want to become the greatest I am, and the only thing that is holding you back is you. You see, that real self that I'm talking about is that self that has been molded and shaped by the Most High. It's that self that has not only been molded, but you had a double portion of blessing because you now have the DNA of Christ flowing through your system. All you need to do is to activate that awareness. And when you activate that awareness, that real self, and that is started a tertiary institution, that real self can become the self that can totally shift this universe. You see, it takes a small pebble to create that ripple effect. But are you ready to become that small pebble that can shift worldviews? Are you prepared to become that small pebble that can touch and transform lives? Are you prepared to become that pebble that can nurture the next generation of global thinkers, social actors, and transformational leaders? What pebble are you prepared to be? You are phenomenal. You're exceptional. You have untapped potential. Don't be set up to nurture a negative sense of self. Don't be set up to think like a failure. Don't be set up to think in limitation. You have two choices. You can remain at the path where you're at and see yourself in doubts and allow the lies and the that has been prophesied over your life to manifest, or you can step over to my world where you can now position yourself to come into an abundant lifestyle. You have two choices. Remain where you are and embrace limitation, embrace lies, embrace doubts, embrace fear, or you can step over and position yourself to gain a true sense of self, to gain a true sense of identity, to declare mastery over your life and position yourself to become a little pebble that can create a ripple effect of positive vibration in this world. And that's why I'm here. And this is what this book is about. Billionaire Codes is designed to help you to understand the codes for successful living. Billionaire Codes is designed to help you to understand your true sense of self and your true sense of purpose and your true sense of identity. But in understanding these things is what's going to help you to be anchored in your position of strength as you position yourself to come into great and massive financial breakthrough. Money is not a primary source. Money is a tertiary source. And when you understand my systems that will position you to become one of the most successful and prosperous people the world has ever known. You are a phenomenal people. We're talking together about purpose. Your purpose gives you a sense of direction. Again, can you see yourself on a ship? And because of your good deeds, the captain of that ship has decided to hand you the keys. This is no ordinary ship. This is a cruise ship. This is a 5-star cruise ship. This is a ship that promotes fun and excitement and joy for life and living. This is a ship that attracts millions of people annually. But now you are given the responsibility to navigate that ship. But guess what? You have no sense of direction, no sense of understanding as to how to start the ship, how to navigate that ship. The ship that I'm talking about is you. Do you take time out to understand how unique and how special you are? Do you take time out to honor yourself, to appreciate the uniqueness that you have within you? I know most of you, you're on a treadmill and you hardly take that time out to embrace you, to fall in love with you again and again and again. There's no luxury car, there's no luxury ship, there's no gold, diamond, and ruby and pearl that can compare to you. But are you aware of this? Do you invest time, your talent, your resources to gain a true appreciation of you? You're the most unique and awesome creatures the world has and will ever know. But are you aware of this? Today is that day that I really want to shift your sense of understanding and bring you to a point where you will start to invest time, your talent, your resources in you to get a true appreciation of who you are. You are not an average person. You're a phenomenal people. And you need to become that phenomenal people who could navigate your ship. You can now navigate your ship because you have a clear sense of direction, how you're going to be driven, purpose filled. You see, when you understand your purpose gives you a sense of direction. Your sense of direction defines your definiteness of purpose. And just let me crack this a little bit more. Our purpose on earth is to serve. It doesn't matter how much you turn it and how much you twist it. Our purpose is to serve. But there's something that we call aligned services. The reality is that many of us, or most of us, we're given service, but we're given service in complete non-alignment with our true calling in life. And that is one of the reasons why most people never come into their breakthrough. You're given service, but for the simple fact that you do not understand your purpose, your passion, and your gift, you are not in that position of strength to give aligned services. And because of this fact, you feel as though you're on that treadmill. You're going day in and day out, and you're not accomplishing your dreams, your hopes, and your aspirations. Your life is not perfectly defined. Your direction is not perfectly defined. Your purpose is not lining up with your service. Again, my purpose in writing this book, Billionaire Codes, Self-Application Best Practices in Transforming Our Mind, is to give you a content of information that will truly trust, touch, and transform your lives forever. So, your purpose gives you a definiteness of purpose. And you need to know that. And that's where you position yourself in that position of strength, where you know that you know that you know that this is my life's purpose. I was taught as a business consultant, but my true calling is to empower the human capital to become the best brand of itself. I was taught as a doctor, traditional system, but the new parallel system is informing me that my true calling is to become the greatest scientist the world has ever known. I'll go deeper into this later on. Today I'm talking about purpose and the importance of understanding your purpose. Your purpose is to serve, but you can give non-aligned services that end up leaving you feeling unfulfilled. Most people in the world today, even some of those who have attained success, feels emptiness within because of the simple fact that they are not given aligned services. You're given services, but you're completely disconnected from your true sense of self, from your DSS, your deeper sense of self. There's no alignment with your DSS and the service that you're given. No alignment. There need to be a perfect alignment. In a later broadcast, I will give you information on this. Under this heading, there's 4 important things for you to understand: definiteness of purpose, definiteness of plan, definiteness of synergy, and definiteness of action. These are some of the codes that the successful people use, and they formed a mastermind group around definiteness of purpose, around definiteness of plan, around definiteness of synergy, and around definiteness of action. I will go into all of these areas as time progresses because it will take me a year to probably dive into each one of these concepts because I believe in going for depths. Depths is what's going to help you to shape a true sense of understanding the concept that I'm talking. The last thing I'm going to talk about today is your purpose gives you a sense of identity. So now you own that ship, you own that luxury vehicle, but it's what gives you an identity. You see, having an identity is what helps people to one, identify you and identify with you or against you. And that's very important to have a sense of identity. You need to understand what are your motivators. You need to understand what are your foundations. You need to understand what is your sense of self. You need to understand your scope and parameters of focus. What is your identity? What is your sense of self? You see, having a clear sense of who you are gives you control over self mastery. You see, if you don't understand yourself, if you don't have a sense of identity, it simply means that you are not positioning yourself to master who you are. The successful people in the world are the people who can master who they are. You look at the Buffetts, you look at the JP Morgans, you look at the Rothschilds, you look at the most successful people in the world. Those are the people who have positioned themselves in that position and trying to master who they are. You cannot attain exceptional success and not be in that place where you are comfortable with who you are. You're not comfortable in that position of mastering who you are. I want to show you all these people have a clear sense of understanding. And this is what purpose helps you to attain an identity. When all of us look at Bill Gates, we understand what is his identity. When we talk about the late Steve Jobs, we know what is his identity. When we talk about the Buffetts, we have a clear sense of understanding as to what defines him. Are you taking the steps and the action to position yourself to be in that place, in that position of strength where you have a clear sense of understanding and control over your self-mastery? Understanding your purpose gives you a sense of identity, but it also helps you to have control over mindset. You see, most of you are driven by eyesight. You look at the things that has been created in the world and you say, that's the best that I can do. And most of you who are still thinking in limitation, you allow your limited sense of self, you allow your eyesight, social conditioning to program you to think in limitation, to program you to condition the people around you to think in limitation, for the simple reason that you don't understand the power of mindset. The wealthiest people in the world are the people that understand the power of mindset and they leverage mindset to continue to expand the gap between the haves and the have not. They continue to use mindset to set new trends in science and technology, to set new trends in human research development, to set new trend in income earning possibilities, because of the fact that they're able to master self, and then mastering self will give you access to mindset mastery. What steps are you taking to declare ownership of your life? My task here is to awaken that genius that you have within, to bring you to that point where you can start to tap into your genie. And believe me, this genie don't only grant you three wish. This genie grants you abundant riches. And later on, I will talk about the parallel Milky Way. And when you hear what is the parallel Milky Way that we have been taught about for all of our lives, you'll be wowed. So the last concept we're going to be looking at today is your purpose gives you a sense of identity. So far, we look at two things. It gives you control over self-mastery. It gives you control over mindset mastery. It now gives you control over your circle of influence. You see, as a person who is mastering who you are, as a person who is mastering your mindset, it gives you control over your circle of influence. You see, part of the mission of global branding and marketing is to create an environment where we can help the human capital to become the best brand of itself. Why? Because we are fully aware that every organization rises and falls based on its human capital. If our human capital lacks self-confidence, that lack will be reflected in the organization. If the human capital lacks a sense of self, that lack of sense of self will reflect in the organization. If the human capital lacks a sense of direction, that sense of direction will be reflected in the organization. But when the individual understand their DSS, their deeper sense of self, they understand what is self-mastery, and they can position themselves to master self and navigate their ship as people who understand the power of mindset and can tap into that power of mindset and leverage the power of mindset to innovate new products and services, to become the game changers, the dream makers, and the trendsetters. We are now positioning the organization to become the best known organization in the world. You see, if you want to be a part of an institution that is going to condition your human capital and condition your people to become the next generation of global thinkers, social actors, and transformational leaders, this is the organization that you ought to become a part of: global branding and marketing and the Billionaire Codes system. But if you prepare to be average, you need not log into us. We want to have nothing to do with the average people unless the average people want to reprogram and recondition themselves against the traditional system that wants to hold you back to now become exceptional thinkers and leaders. We are a God-fearing institution. We believe in biblical truths. And one of the biblical truths that we want to emphasize to the people around the world is that our God is not a God of limitation. He's a God of abundance. Look at everything that he has created. He created the earth, he created the ocean, he created the sky, he created the sun, he created the moon. He created the breath of fresh air that keeps us alive. From the time he has created those things to now, those things are a part of our world. It is there abundantly, and they're of course showing no signs of diminishing. God created you. But the reality is that you have been tampered with. You have been programmed to think in limitation and not abundance. My task is to bring you back to that point where you can start to see the abundance that you have within, and where you can now start to activate in the abundance that you have within you. You can activate that genie. You can activate that sleeping giant, and you can now position yourself to become the best brand of yourself. You can now position yourself to become a global thinker, a social actor, and a transformational leader who can truly touch and transform lives of people all around you. My friends, this is one of my masterpieces, Billionaire Codes, Self-Application Best Practices Transforming the Mind. And I want to encourage you to keep following this podcast. My life's mission is not about me. The only significance my life has to me is that my life is a vessel that will be used to disseminate information, a content of information that will break the back of traditional systems that wants to hold you back, and to disseminate a content of information that will position you to become the best brand of who you are, that will position you and give you the tool to go beyond using less than 5% of your brain power. My content is designed to position you to become like the 1% of the people in the world who are earning 90% of the world's wealth. What that means? It simply means that 99.9% of the human population is existing on the 10% of the remaining wealth. Why should that be so? Just think about it. Are you going to be in the boat of limitation, or are you going to be in the boat of abundance? I want to assure you, my boat has an abundance of information that will help you to stop limiting yourself, that will break the backs of lies, doubts, and fear that has been prophesied over your life, and to bring you to a point where you can take your life back from lies and doubts and fear and put you into that position of strength where you declare ownership of your life through Christ Jesus. And you can now position yourself like that caterpillar who becomes the butterfly, and you can begin to fly with a true sense of self, a true sense of purpose, a true sense of identity, a true sense of direction where you're going to navigate your life. It has been an awesome and pleasurable time being with you. Again, my name is Gary Thompson. I'm a business development consultant by profession. I'm a humanitarian by nature, and I'm the author of several books. Billionaire Codes, Self-Application Best Practices Transforming the Mind is only one of my masterpieces. I trust you would have enjoyed today's program and do look forward for another program tomorrow. Be blessed until the next broadcast.